Hello, in today's lecture we are going to see the combing performance. The combing quality or the performance of a comber can be evaluated by the first factor that comes is the quality of the delivered sliver. Secondly, it depends upon the level as well as the quality of the noil that is removed and also on the production rate. Evaluation of the combing performance must consider all the above 3 points. So let us first see why the noil percentage or the level as well as the quality of the noil is so important. Control of noil percentage as well as quality of the noil must be is very important because noil removed may consist of long fibers, broken long fibers, which and both these factors are undesirable, and short fibers must be removed as much as possible. So whenever we say noil, it should contain maximum short fibers and must not contain long fibers or broken long fibers as far as possible. So therefore, control of this noil is very important both in terms of level as well as quality of the noil. 60% of the cost of yarn is due to the raw material, and therefore removal of noil shall incur a huge cost. Process parameters responsible for noil percentage is fiber disorder, that is pre-comb draft, number of leading hooks in the feed direction, and detachment setting. And other than these, there are some other parameters which we shall see in the coming slides in details. So the factors influencing comber performance are preparation of the feed material, process parameters, machine parameters, and the influence of settings. All the above evaluate and influence the noil levels. But if we look at the fractionating efficiency, it is a direct method of judging the efficiency of elimination of short fibers in noil and also the efficiency of retaining the long fibers in sliver. So whenever we look at noil levels, only looking or judging at the noil levels is not enough, because that if say noil percent is say 20%, it really does not tell us anything about the quality of the noil. It only tells us about the level. So we should always judge even the quality of the noil in terms of these two factors, that the short fibers, whatever need to be removed, must be seen in the noil and should not be allowed to enter the sliver. And at the same time, all the long fibers that are fed as far as possible must be included in the sliver. And if they are being removed in the noil, then our fractionating efficiency is low. It is so we need to look at the quality parameter of the noil to really judge the comber performance. So both levels as well as quality of the noil must be looked at. So let us see what are the various factors that are involved when we need to look at the noil percentage as well as quality. The first factor would be preparation of feed material. So in terms of preparation of feed material, we have seen some of these factors earlier in our earlier lectures. So we shall just revise them or look at them all over again. So the first parameter is the parallelization of the fibers, which is actually decided by the level of draft in comber preparatory. Over parallelization reduces retaining power or self-cleaning property, and as well as strength, and it also increases the lap licking. Under parallelization also has got its own disadvantages. It might lead to long fiber loss due to the reduced fiber extent. That is because reduced fiber extent will not allow the long fibers to reach the detaching roller and might be removed as an oil, and therefore under parallelization also is a disadvantage. And at the same time, if the feed material is under parallelized, then in that case you would see an increased combing force due to the higher fiber entanglement, and therefore plucking of the fiber in groups from the lap is possible. So both over as well as under parallelization is undesirable from the point of view of good comber preparation and an optimum level of noil percentage elimination. At the same time, there is a second factor, that is thickness of the lap, which must be between 55 to 75 kilotex. Increase in the lap thickness, or as we may know it, the linear density of the lap, increases the retaining power or the self-cleaning power. And also a nipper grip improves with thickness up to a certain level. So minimum thickness is always needed. Too much thickness increases the load on the comber needles, leading to fiber plucking. And also some fibers in the top layer of the lap sheet may escape the combing action by the cylinder needles. So at the same, when you say that we need to increase the lap thickness because it has certain advantages, we must also understand that there are certain disadvantages if the thickness is too much, because it will increase the load on the comber needles, and it will lead to fiber plucking problems. And also some fibers may just escape the combing action by the cylinder needles. So coming to the third point, that is evenness of the lap sheet along length as well as width. Even this factor is very important when we have to control noise percentage. Sliver doubling and doubling of the web in the sandwich form, both of these control the evenness of the lap sheet. Evenness along the width ensures better gripping by the nippers. So disposition of the fiber hooks in the lap is also very important. We have seen in detail why we need to feed leading hooks to the comber, and it is essential as there is a possibility of fiber straightening and more fibers can reach the detaching roller and get into the sliver. So if we are able to open out the fiber hooks, we can reduce the noise percentage to a large extent. So that is why we need to feed leading hooks to the comber, because comber is able to remove or increase the fiber extent when it comes to leading hooks. But as far as trailing hooks are concerned, it is not that efficient in opening them and increasing the fiber extent. That's why we have seen the earlier that we need to feed leading hooks to the comber. So having seen the preparation of the preparation that influences the noise percentage, let us go to the process parameters. So under process parameters, the first factor would be lap feed per cycle. Lap feed per cycle, it affects the sliver quality, production as well as the noise percentage. High feed per cycle increases production, but the noise extracted reduces and the quality of the combing deteriorates due to lower cleaning. On the other hand, if the feed per cycle is low, the quality of the combing improves, since the same fibers get combed many times before crossing the combing zone. But we must know that the production reduces. When the quality requirements are high, a fiber of higher length is normally used. And there is an approximate correlation between the two. So in the graph, we see that the x-axis shows the staple length in inches, which is shown over here, and the y-axis shows the feed per cycle in mm. So as the staple length is increased, it means that we are trying to produce a better sliver and a better yarn. In that case, since we are going to go for a better quality, so we must also have a better quality of combing. Um, so that is why if we were to correlate this, we should have a very low feed per cycle. So as we go on increasing the staple length, we see that the feed per cycle has to be reduced to get a better quality of cleaning and noil elimination. So coming to the next point, the type of feed. The type of feed also affects noil percentage extraction. We have seen this factor also earlier in detail. The noil extracted in backward feed is more than the noil extracted during the forward feed. Forward feed used to be chosen earlier for higher production rates when the quality requirements were not very critical. The noil level would be around 12 to 14%. When higher demands were made on quality, backward feed had to be used, where the noil percentage would be ranging from 12 to 25%. With modern comber preparatory and combers, the kind of combers we have today with good technological developments, at high production levels, the material throughput is also higher, and therefore the bat weight that we feed is going to be higher naturally, because we are going to increase the production levels. But we have already seen that increasing the bat weight leads to a better self cleaning effect um, on its own. So therefore, opening of trailing hooks along with better efficiency in removal of short fibers and dust is also there. And this is the reason that we no longer need to go for backward feed for increasing the quality. and therefore forward feed is mostly used in modern combers for all staples with a noil range between 8 to 18%. So nowadays on modern combers we do not find the combers using backward feed, um, and that is why forward feed is used, because it also has an advantage that we can have a higher production rate. And since quality is already taken care of by all these factors of self cleaning etc., we can go for safely go for forward feed. And for self cleaning effect understanding in better detail, we can refer to this lecture number 32 where it has been discussed earlier. So let us go to the machine parameters that affect noil percentage. So the machine parameters that affect noil percentage is the type of needle on cylinder comb as well as the top comb, and also the needle density. So density of a cylinder versus top comb needles, let us see how they compare. It is observed that a fiber in the zone between the nipper grip and the detaching roller during combing would undergo the following treatment. Um, the cylinder has got a sawtooth clothing on it. The intensity of the combing by cylinder reduces from leading end to the trailing end. The tooth density on the cylinder also increases from the initial rows that enter the fringe to the last one. We have seen this all these things in detail earlier. It may vary from 34 needles per inch to 40 to 44 to 52 needles per inch. The number of rows also increases from 3 to 5 to 10 to 26 for a 44 row cylinder half lap. This is an example which is given over here. So we also know that leading ends are combed more than the trailing end of a fiber. Some portions of the fiber are combed by both cylinder as well as the top comb. The tail part is mostly combed by the top comb only. So having understood this all these parameters about the cylinder as well as the top comb, we can conclude that a fiber is subjected to different degrees of combing, and since the top comb has only one row of needles, it has to be denser than the cylinder needles. So let us see the importance of top comb. Although it may seem that the short fibers are removed mainly by the cylinder action, the top comb accounts for 80% of the extracted noil. This can be observed if the comber were to be run without a top comb and the combing only being carried out by the cylinder. So if we need to check this out, if we were to remove the top comb and run the comber without top comb, we find that it is not very efficient in removing the noil. Only when the top comb is there, it removes the noil very efficiently. So therefore we know that top comb is very important in the extraction of noil, and the noil that is extracted, almost 80% of it is accounted for by the top comb action. Top comb itself does not remove or extract fibers, but it only prevents the fibers from going into the sliver by arresting them with its needles. So we know this, that the top comb doesn't really have any kind of movement in the entire sequence of or the cycle of combing. It only is made to enter the fringe and it stays there for a certain time. We have seen this under timing diagram of comber. It will stay there for some time and it will only arrest those fibers and not allow them to go into the sliver. So it looks as if it is not contributing towards removal of short fibers, but it is doing the most important job here by arresting them and not allowing the short fibers to go into the sliver. The fibers accumulate behind the top comb and are removed by the cylinder in its next cycle. The top comb controls the fiber movement and restrains them, and restrains the out of turn acceleration of the fibers during combing. So let us see the influence of the top comb or on sliver irregularity as well as noil percentage. The top comb needles have flattened cross section and are formed with a bend. The top comb has a great influence on the sliver irregularity. Without the top comb, the sliver would be irregular due to the lack of fiber control. That means if the top comb was not there in the entire sequence, then the fibers would just move uncontrolled in this region, and it would lead to more irregular sliver. So if the top comb needles are not appropriate for the fiber fineness, then also we may find that the fibers may break again which may lead to an increase in the irregularity. Therefore, there must be adequate space between the needles to allow the detaching roller to draw the fibers freely from the combed fiber fringe. More needles means more resistance to the movement of the fibers through them, which results in more arrest of the naps behind the top comb. So some of the guidelines for selection of the top comb is that if we are going for coarse combing, 66 needles per inch is enough. If we are going for medium combing, 72 needles per inch, that means it has increased. The density will further increase if we are going for fine combing, which increases to 80 needles per inch. So fewer needles are used when higher production with lower noil extraction is needed. So more needles produce more noil. So we can see how the density of the needles of the top comb will influence both the sliver irregularity, or rather the quality of the sliver that is given, as well as the noil percentage. So let us go to the influence of settings which it has on the noil percentage levels. So first is detachment setting. It is the distance between the grip line of the nippers and the nip line of the detaching rollers when they are closest to each other. So in this diagram, to identify the detachment setting or the detachment length, this is the nipper grip line, and this is the detaching roller nip line over here. And the distance between them when the nipper assembly is closest to the detaching roller, let us say that is E. So this is the distance we're talking about when we say detachment setting. The setting is the main this setting is the main one that influences noil elimination. Increase in detachment setting increases the noil extraction, resulting in the improvement of quality, but only up to a certain limit. So if we increase the detachment setting, it will increase noil percentage and also maybe improve quality, but there is a limit to which it can improve the quality if we increase the setting. Increasing the setting beyond this would only show some improvement in the imperfections that is there. So it is normally set between 15 to 25 mm. If the noil percentage varies for no reason while the machine settings are kept constant, if we observe that noil percentage is simply varying, although we have not changed any of the comber settings, then in that case the noil would vary not because of machine settings, but because there is some other reason, and that cause is because there is a variability in the short fiber percentage in the raw material. So if the noil percentage has changed without any change in the settings, then we must look at the causes of change in the raw material, and this may happen because there is a variability in the short fiber content of the raw material itself. So let us see the influence of settings of the top comb and the piecing index setting. Depth of penetration of top comb. So if improvement is seen in the nep level, if we able to change the depth of penetration of top comb, lowering of the top comb by 0.5 mm increases noil by 2%. That is what is observed. Too much of depth of penetration also is a disadvantage because it may disturb the movement of the fringe during piecing, leading to quality deterioration. The top comb entry timing also influences noil percentage. Early entry would eliminate more noil, but it should not be used to control noil since it has other negative effects which we have discussed earlier. Noil percentage is also affected by the distance between the top comb and the detaching roller nip when it enters the fringe. The lesser the distance, that is closer entry of the top comb to the detaching roller, will increase noil percentage since it will have a larger influence of on the fibers behind it. Closer this distance, better is the quality since the top comb will restrict maximum short fibers from entering the sliver. There's one more factor that might influence noil percentage, that is the angle of entry. An acute angle to the direction of movement of the fringe would eliminate more noil. Piecing index setting also influences noil percentage. It causes a periodic variation that is visible in the spectrogram. We have seen this spectrogram earlier. And correct superimposition of the successive comb fringes during their laying on each other, the unevenness can be reduced. Time of beginning of the detachment relative to the placement of the comb fringe to the nip of the detaching roller is done by the setting of the piecing index. And if set properly, we can reduce the periodic variation, and therefore this is how it will affect the quality of the sliver. So having seen all the factors that basically influence Noyle percentage levels, and to a certain extent some of the factors influence the quality of the sliver in terms of irregularity and other things. Let us see how we can control the quality of the Noyle, which is the only factor that is remaining to be discussed, and that can be judged or evaluated by something known as fractionating efficiency. So first of all, let us understand what is fractionating efficiency. Fractionating efficiency can actually be expressed as fractionating efficiency index, and there are methods which are suggested by some researchers, and one of them is a Parthasarathi method. So in this method, it is composed of two factors. The first factor is due to the efficient detachment of the long fibers in the Kober sliver, which is a positive contribution. And the other factor is due to the inadvertent withdrawal of the short fibers into the Kumbar sliver, which is a negative contribution. And both these factors are found out. That means the first factor is that whether how efficient is our Kumbar in actually including all the long fibers in the sliver, and at the same time the other factor would be that how efficient the Kumbar is in also um, um, inadvertently or other negatively withdraw the short fibers into the Kumbar sliver, which is an undesirable factor. So one is a positive influence and the other one is a negative contribution towards Kumbar performance. So let A1, A2, AX, etc. be the percentage of fibers for lab. At the same time, capital A, A2, AX be the percentage fibers for sliver. Let L1, L2, and so on, LX be the mean length of the group for lab, and L1, L2, capital LX be the mean length group for sliver. So if those are the variables that we are allocating, then fractionating efficiency index for longer fiber retention would be sigma Lx minus Lm into Ax divided by sigma small Lx minus Lm into Ax, which would be the first equation. The second one, fractionating efficiency index for short fibers would be sigma Lm minus Lx into Ax divided by sigma small Lm minus Lx into Ax, which is a second equation. So the composite or the total fractionating efficiency index would be 1 minus 2. 1 here would be the long fiber retention or inclusion in the combed sliver, which is a positive effect, subtracted by the negative effect, that is inclusion of the short fibers in the combed sliver, which is undesirable. So 1 minus 2 into 100 would give us the composite fractionating efficiency index. In an ideal working condition, fractionating efficiency index for long fiber retention would be 1, while fractionating efficiency index for including the short fibers in the sliver should be 0 in an ideal condition, and therefore the composite fractionating efficiency index would be 100 in that case. So having seen this, let us see one small example which will clarify this entire concept of fractionating efficiency by the Parthasarathi method. So here in the first column, fiber length is mentioned in mm, the range is mentioned here, and the mean of this range is taken in the second column over here. Third column shows us the percentage fibers in the lab. 7%, 10%, 20% of these particular range of fibers given against them are there in the lab. And the next column gives us the percentage of fibers that is included in the sliver. So if there was 7% fibers in the lab in this range of fibers, that is 34 mean length range, only 6% has been included in the sliver, and so on. Next is 8%, 18%, and so on. And there are some short fibers also that have got included in this range, that is 8 to 12 and 8 to 4 and 0 to 4 fiber length. There are some 5% of fibers which have also been included in the sliver. So this is the distribution that is being shown here, and this line is indicative of the mean length, and the mean length is 12 mm here. So this is the weightage factor which has been calculated in the last column, which is 22 here. What is done is 34, that is Lx minus Lm would give us 22 here. 30, similarly 30 minus 12 would give 18, and so on. So completing this entire column here. When we go beyond below 12 here, so it goes as negative, that is 10 minus 12 actually, or rather Lm mean minus 10, which is 2, 12 minus 6, which is 6, and so on. So we get this particular column. So let us now see the calculation of fractionating efficiency by this method. So we had seen the formula earlier. So substituting the values here, that is the weightage Ax 22 into Lx minus Lm, that is 6 in this column. So 22 into 6 plus 18 into 8 plus 14 into 18 plus 10 into 16 plus 6 into 13 and 2 into 10, which is the numerator, which is for long fibers. So we are only taking the fibers that are above the mean length, that is above 12 mm in the numerator, and in the denominator we will have 22 into 7, that is this is the total percentage that was there in the lab, so which comes in the denominator. 22 into 7, 18 into 10, 14 into 20, 10 into 18, 6 into 15, and 2 into 12. So calculating this, we get the fractionating efficiency index for long fiber retention as 0.865. Similarly, we can calculate the fractionating efficiency index for shorter fibers. So we come to this area of the table here, where we have 2 into 6, which is for the sliver in the numerator, 6 into 3, and 10 into 20. And in the denominator, similarly, we will have the values for fibers in percentage fibers that was originally there in the lab. So denominator would be 2 into 8, 6 into 5, and 10 into 5, the addition, the sum of all of this. When we calculate, we get the answer as 0.521 for fractionating efficiency index for short fibers. So the composite fractionating efficiency index would be this 1 minus 2 multiplied by 100. The answer comes to be 34.4%. So if this was an ideal situation, and if the comber was able to perfectly remove all the short fibers from the lab and retain all the long fibers in the combed sliver, then we would have got the efficiency index as 100. But since this particular comber, or whatever values we have got, this particular comber, we can judge the performance of this by just looking at this particular percentage. We can see that this is not a very good figure here, because it is nowhere near close to 100, and therefore we can easily judge the performance and say that the comber, this particular comber has allowed quite a lot of short fibers into the sliver, and also removed quite a lot of long fibers into the noil. So, and it has not, therefore not been able to retain many of the long fibers, and they have landed up in the noil. So calculation of fractionating efficiency index in this manner would actually tell us not only the percentage, as we have seen earlier, the noil levels actually do not give, is not a very good indicator of comber performance. Um, Along with noil percentage levels, we also need to know how the quality of the noil is affected, or the comber is able to treat those fibers. So if you are able to have both these figures, noil level as well as the fractionating efficiency, we can actually evaluate the comber performance, and we can get a comprehensive view of how the comber has performed, both in terms of level as well as quality of the noil that is removed. So there is, since this was a complicated method of calculating or understanding or judging the comber performance, There's one more way to see the fractionating efficiency, and simply it would be by looking at the improvement in mean length. Fractionating efficiency can also be expressed by finding out the improvement in mean length. The methods of expressing fractionating efficiency in terms of mean length has been found to be quite reliable, um, and along with the ease of calculation or expressing it, it is also found to be quite reliable. um, but there are some norms, or this is a table which indicates and tells us how our own Comber would compare against the norms. So if we are producing a certain count, say from 28 to 30s, with an effective length of 26 to 27 fiber, with a mean length of 21 to 23, and the waste percentage of 7 to 9, the expected increase in length is 1 to 1.2 mm. And if we fall within this range, then we should be able to judge the performance and say that the Comber has performed well. Similarly, this table also gives for counts up to 46 to 60, with these various fiber lengths range as well as the waste percentage. And we expect an increase, in this case, an increase in effective length of around 2.5 to 3 mm. Having understood what is fractionating efficiency, let us see what are the factors that influence fractionating efficiency. Fractionating efficiency can be low due to the poor penetration of the half lap or even the top comb. The ineffective gripping of nippers during combing, faulty setting, timing, and bad condition of detaching roller can also lead to a poor fractionating efficiency. Fiber breakage in the comber is mainly due to the high disorientation of fibers and fiber hooking. The high entanglement of fibers in the lap results in harsh action of either the half lap or even the top comb. It is known that increasing step gauge to increase Comber noil increases fractionating power, but this increases linear up to an approximately noil percentage level of 20. Beyond this, it does not help in improving the fractionating efficiency. The fractionating efficiency is better in case of forward feed. It is possible to improve fractionating efficiency index by making a better lap or having a better lap preparation. When the top comb is set too deep into the fringe, it gives poor fractionating because of fiber rupture. At the same time, absence of top comb also leads to poor fractionation, because mainly it happens because of the lower noil percentage that is removed. So there is a deterioration in fractionation with higher production rates, mainly due to fiber breakage during detaching. So these are some of the factors that would influence the fractionating efficiency index. And having seen how to judge the entire Comber performance, not only based on quality of the sliver or the level of noil percentage, we also understood how the quality of noil also should be judged to have a overall picture of how our Comber has really performed. So with this, we come to the end of today's lecture. Thank you.